Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? It is great to have you with me. The Minnesota Vikings are coming off their bye week. They are 6-6 and are in a tight race. It is going to be a dogfight for the Vikings to get into the playoffs, but they're in it despite all the tomfoolery, skullduggery, and shenanigans that have proceeded the Vikings this season. How's everybody doing tonight? Did you enjoy your bye week? We thought to ourselves, hey, the Vikings don't play. We can just sit back and watch football, college football, pro football. We can relax and not have a heart attack, not have the Vikings ripping out our souls. And then absolutely everything pert near went wrong as far as the Vikings go. But you know what I say to that? I say to heck with it. Win yourself. Don't rely on other teams losing or other teams not doing so well. Heck with all of that. Let's get in and let's win because we deserve it. We earned it. Heaven forbid. Let's get some shout outs going here. I'm going to get this up here right off the bat for everybody. Who's first of my SKOL bros? SKOL Mafia is in the building. What's going on? Good to see you as always. We got Grandpa Dave from Vikings First and SKOL. Hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast aggregator. That is Vikings First and SKOL. I have you over there. Great show tonight as always from Dave and Tyler. I promise I won't have too many unoriginal takes that I did steal from you guys. Shout out Tony in the building. Shout out Nick Andrews, one of the OGs. We got Greg in the building. What's going on? We got Davey Chains. What's going on, Chains? Good to see you. The lovely and talented Miss Mary, one of the queens, one of the matriarch of this Vikings community. Thank you so kindly as always for joining. We got Frozen North. What's going on? He says early birds. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you guys were in here a little early. All right, fair enough. I want to mock Bob is in the building. What's going on, Bob? Good to see you. SKOL State of Mind. What's up, you boys? Everybody shout out SKOL State of Mind and hit that sub button on his channel as well. We got Adam in the building. What's going on? Good to see you tonight. Saw you over on the GG boys. What's going on, James? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. SKOL for Life Barbers in the building. What's going on? Purple and gold for life, gang. There you go. The single greatest Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, MySpace, TikTok handle of all time. My worthless opinion, because your opinion is rarely, if ever, worthless, especially on my show. Appreciate you guys. And remember, all members, I put this out on the membership. If you want to get on the mic tonight, you know what to do. Shoot me an email, jday24@charter.net. Or if you have me on Messenger on Facebook or DM me on Twitter, you want a link, you want to get on the mic for a few minutes, just like we did with Grandpa Gary last week, we can certainly do that. We got Nephew in the building. What's going on, JJ? Everybody shout out JJ as well. Hit up that young man's channel. Holy cow. This guy's going to blow up and pass us all by if we don't watch out. And so you better get on the train before the train leaves the station, as they say. So I appreciate you guys and gals so very, very much. My guy Ryan is in the building. Hope you had a great and stress-free NFL weekend. There you go. Who is ready for that stretch run? That's what we're going to start talking about tonight. You better believe that. We got Dylan in the building. What's going on? You are correct. I still can't believe it either. But you know what? We got to stop looking backwards and we got to look forward because we can't change it. What's done is done. And yeah, maybe at the end of the year, we'll look back at all these opportunities we let go by the wayside and say to ourselves, how in the world did we let that one go? Two-Toe Tony's in the building. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit. Shout out Julian. What's going on, Julian? Good to see you as well. Yes. It was that game was putting aside the admitted bias that we have for anything that is the Green Bay Packers. That game was so badly officiated that neither team could really come back and say, oh, the refs screwed up. The refs were terrible both ways. But at the end of the day, people was like, ha, finally, Kansas City didn't get all the calls. I'm like, yeah, but that means the Packers won. Why are you celebrating that? Why the heck are you celebrating that? Shout out Mateo. What's going on, Mateo? Good to see you as well. Thank you kindly. As always, everybody, very much appreciate all of you coming on by. All right, so we got some housekeeping items coming up here, as always. So first and foremost, the fundraiser continues, and I still get some matching donations. So if you haven't already heard, Mini-Me is going to the Big Apple as well as Washington, D.C. So anything in the Super Chats or over on the Cash App, and that's Purple and Gold for Days on the Cash App, it's a matching donation from the Rochester Public School Foundation. So I know it's the holiday season. We all got our presents to shop for, and all that good stuff. But anything you can throw down. And also, thank you to Miss Mary, who is also donating some giveaways as well. Any amounts that end in five or a multiple of five get you an entry into a prize that Mary is going to be donating for us. Rap and I are going to be doing this. I'm doing this for tonight's show as well as Thursday's show. Rap is going to, and that's for my daughter. Now, Rap is going to do his on Friday for Gary's grandson. So all of these donations are going to good causes. But you're going to get entries into a prize that Mary's going to give away, and we will announce that winner this coming Sunday on Rap for Days. So any multiples of five get you an entry. What is that? I'll tell you shortly. But in all seriousness, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here. And if it is, we start out our show giving shout outs to people in the building, as well as shout outs to some others. I'll get to that in a second because I know I got a couple more people got in the building, like Vaughn. What's going up, Vaughn? All I know, love has arrived. We'll talk about it. But you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. But I agree with Julia. He will come back to Earth. He's wrestled disgrace. Yeah, again, they were horrible for the entire game. They were absolutely horrible for the entire game. All right, okay? We got something going on from Jay. What I missed, JJ? Hold on just a second. Lost a family friend, dear old uncle. Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, JJ. 68. Oh, dang, dude. Everybody shout out JJ. I mean, I say that in general, but nephew, sorry to hear about that, man. Sorry to hear about that. Put a little damper on it, but that's wow. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. We got a lot of sorries in there. All right, so there you go. There you go. All right, let's get to the brass tacks. And then let's get started here. We start our show by shouting out people in the building, and I shout out my show by shouting out a few other people as well. Come on, thing. Got the stickies already. Shout out to all the active and veteran members of our armed forces for all that you do for us, the freedoms that you fought for and the freedoms that you maintain. And shout out to all your family members who have to sacrifice time away from their loved ones so that we can be the best nation in this world and that we can enjoy all the freedoms that we do. Shout out to the brave men and women who serve as our law enforcement, firefighters, and EMS, who in times of tragedy are the ones running towards the danger while the rest of us are trying to get away from it. And as always, shout out to the doctors, nurses, frontline workers, home health care providers, surgeons, for in our time of medical need, you are there to provide us the care that we need and the care that we are unable to provide ourselves. The men and women that I have shouted out in these groups at times can work very thankless jobs. So I'm going to say thank you at the start of my show. So thank you very kindly to all of the brave men and women in these groups that take care of us when we're not able to take care of ourselves. All right, we got a couple more shouts to get on here. Shout out right off the bat to Andrew for the 20 bones. What's going on? Thank you so kindly, Andrew. Again, until I get me a soundboard that can reliably not cut out my sound, I'm not doing the soundboard thing here. But imagine the air horn, imagine the Ric Flair clap, the Ric Flair woo. Shout out right off the bat to Andrew. So thank you very much. So each time I get one of these, I got to write these down. So I know how many entries you guys are going to get. Thank you, Andrew. I very much appreciate you. Very much appreciate you. All right, what are we going to talk about today? Well, before we talk about it, let's give Caesar a shout. What's going on, Caesar? Good to see you. I'm going to talk about that. I got a thing or two to say about that. I don't like what I'm hearing, but hey, it's the Vikings. So they're always going to do what we don't want them to do or what we don't think we should do. And shout out nephew one more time. He says there's got to be put that link in the chat, JJ. We'll put that one in the link. We'll get that up there and have everybody go over there after the show is over here. Absolutely. And congratulations to Mary, who won the Vikings, the custom Vikings jersey from Rap Show on Friday, donated by Gary for his grandson. Absolutely, shout out Mary. And it's not that we are happy that one person did or didn't win it, but if anybody deserves a little pick me up, it is definitely Mary. Shout out My Worthless Opinion for the 5 bones, another 5 for the Big F. I appreciate you. Get one for MWO in there as well. And in fact, Mary, if you're still listening, if you want to just throw in there the price that you're going to be donated, that just might be easier than me looking it up here on the fly. So if you could do that, that'd be great. But shout out to My Worthless Opinion for the 5 bones. And all right, so there's JJ's link. Everybody click on that, then go back to it after the show is over here. Okay. What are we going to talk about tonight? Let's see what mine. Today would be my grandpa's 104th. Hey, shout out to your grandpa. Also, Phineas. Oh, there you go. Shout out to your grandpas there as well. Appreciate you. He was a veteran. We helped you. See, there you go. Shout out to your grandpa there, Ryan. Shout out to your grandpa. Absolutely. All right. For real now. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Where do we start? Well, we start with the good old NFC North roundup. Now, the Vikings and the Bears did not play. We all know that. But whatever could have gone wrong for the Vikings went wrong. The Detroit Lions get out to a 21-0 lead and barely hang on. Those Saints are so bad. Like, seriously. Derek Carr. You're so, oh my gosh. The Lions have tried and tried and tried to let the Vikings get back into this division race. And unfortunately, either we have not taken advantage of it or they just find a way to slip on through. That's all right, though. That's all right. Detroit's going to Detroit. We still have it within our power because if we sweep them and they get one more loss and they got Dallas in between us, we can still catch them. It's going to be tough to catch them for the division. But the bigger concern is the Green Bay Packers. They hung on against the Kansas City Chiefs last night, as we all know. And yes, it was a terribly officiated game, but it was terribly officiated both ways. That hit on Patrick Mahomes, like, you can't be serious. And I said to myself, when that penalty happened, I said, Chiefs are not winning this game. Ball don't lie. And not a couple plays later, this dude gets a 15-yard penalty, gets kicked out the game for punching the guy. And then the play after two or after that, the most ridiculous non-call of a pass interference since that Dallas Cowboys game with us back in 1975. Just an absolute monstrosity of a non-call. I knew that the Chiefs were not going to win that game. The Chiefs look mortal. They're still pretty good, but they do look mortal. And you know what? Good for the Packers. Not really. That's all right. Yeah, they're 6-6 and they're tied. And it's funny. Somebody last week said, I can't remember if it was on Purple Daily or if it was on One Bar, that said their bold prediction was that the Lions, Vikings, and Packers were all going to make the playoffs. And I said, you crazy. The Packers are going to get beat by Kansas City and then they'll be back down to earth. Well, Packers are looking halfway decent. Jordan Love, halfway decent. Here we go again. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. I'm not saying Jordan Love's there yet, but he looked the part yesterday. He definitely looked the part. So we're in a dogfight. It ain't going to be easy, but not impossible, as they say. We can take care of business. We'll be fine. And we got to hold on to that 6th seed. And we'll talk about it a little bit more in the playoff round. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But having said all that, all right. Now that the bye weeks are done, everybody's record is going to be even. Game on. Because we already got the first victory against the Packers, and we got them coming to our house on New Year's Eve, although our house hasn't been very good to us thus far. But that's all right. That's all right. It's still the Packers, and Brian Flores has that for Mr. Jordan Love. But I digress. Let me get some shouts here, but let's hit the reset button. Hit that like button if you didn't on the way in. If you don't already subscribe to Go for Days, hit me up with the button there as well. And if you don't subscribe to Vikings Christians Go on your favorite podcast, hit that up as well. Shout out Mick Andrews for the 5 bones from the trip. Appreciate you as always. And of course, shout out to Davey Chains. Make sure you hit up. This is a little idiot. Okay, well, again, I'm not going. This is for the kids. I don't know what their itinerary is, but I'll check with them and see where they're going. But thank you so kindly, Chains. I appreciate you. Absolutely, Mary. You are quite welcome. Shout out DOD. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you. We got In the Zone podcast in the building. What's going on, Zoe? Good to see you here as well. We got a house call from the doctor. The doctor is in the house. Dr. Proto, what's going on? My guy, T-Bass. Williamson and Gonzalez are starting to look. Not even going to 2, I'm thinking about. I feel you. And again, reminder to all members, y'all want to get on the mic tonight, let me know. Because I only got a couple of topics here tonight. I'm going to give my opinions on a few things. And I'm going to turn it over to you guys in the chat. Members, you want to get on the mic, let me know. We got Skoltron Julio. What's up, Skoltron? You want to know why I love that name? Because it was taken off of my favorite cartoon of all time in the 80s going up. And that's Voltron, baby. That's Voltron. So there you go. Yeah, Love is not doing bad. He's starting to figure it out. They're starting to have some chemistry building there. So we'll see. Going up, Faith. What's going up, Barber? Good to see you. Shout out Gil in the building. What's going on? Good to see you as well. Good to see you guys. Thank you all so very much for coming. If the Rams beat Baltimore, they'll have the 16. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game for the Rams there, but we'll talk about that here in a second. I don't think you are meant for the sounders of background music. Yeah, all right. Oh, dang it. I forgot it's on repeat. Thank you for reminding me of that. I had that in to start the show. Didn't mean for that to keep going. Yeah, I know. I got to get me a soundboard or something, but there you go. Sick about how good Christian Watson's been playing. Yeah, but he might be hurt again. That's the one thing about Watson is he can't stay healthy. And for anybody, T-Bass in particular, and I'll talk about Justin Jefferson. Believe me, that's going to be on the agenda. But, I know we lost our last 2 games by a total of 3 points because the offense couldn't get it done. Defense did its job. Offense didn't. But, hey, can't look backwards. Can only look forward. Shout out SKOL Mafia with the $9.99 super chats. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys so very, very much. Wrench Gang got you. Yeah, I know that. Shout out Lemmy. What's going on, Lemmy? Good to see you. Okay. Now let's get to it. Where should we start today, ladies and gentlemen? Well, prepare for takeoff. Justin Jefferson is going to be back. And I'm only going to touch on this a little bit. Injury or no injury. Hey, it's done. It's over. And we're moving forward. Now, we're going to talk a lot about the quarterbacks. But I'm going to say this. Justin Jefferson. I predicted on my last show that you were going to get to 1,200 yards, which means you need a little bit over 600. I don't think you had any nefarious agenda. I don't think that this notion of you sitting out because of your contract was anything but a bunch of malarkey, so to speak. But what I am going to say is you better show out now because people are on your case now. And that's all right because those people can be dumb and say, oh, Justin Jefferson was mad about his contract. No, he's not. He just wanted to be healthy. So that's fine. But at the end of the day, Justin Jefferson, you ain't got Kirk Cousins. And the Kirk stands want to say, well, Justin Jefferson's only as good as he is because he's got Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to him. Okay, we can stop the cap there. But at the same time, it ain't going to be as easy as it was with Kirk Cousins. You're going to have to be the leader. Josh Dobbs, Jared Mahomes Hall, Nick Mullins, whoever the quarterback ends up being, and we'll discuss that in a moment. But for right now, you got to be the leader. You got to lead by example. You got to do everything and then some. Show the world that you are the best wide receiver in the NFL, the best wide receiver on the planet Earth, that you can play with any quarterback. Yeah, there's going to be some accuracy issues. But as Justin Jefferson did say, when he was on the sideline and asked the question, hey, what do you think of Josh Dobbs? Oh, it's great to see a guy who can extend the play. All right. We're going to backyard football this a little bit if we end up going with Hall or Dobbs. All right, let's backyard football this. Get your yards, man. I know everybody wanted to talk about 2K, and I said from the beginning, 2K is not going to happen. And that was before he got injured. And I know he was on pace to do it, but it was not the best thing anyway because you need to get other players involved. So Jordan Addison, he stepped in quite well the first 4 games without JJ, but he ain't caught a touchdown the last couple of weeks. He ain't done much the last. Yeah, he's got some receptions, and yeah, that ball over his head out of bounds could have absolutely been a better throw. But we need Justin Jefferson out there just to get Jordan Addison back involved and get him into a better rhythm. You know, everybody want to talk about the rookie wall. I don't know if it's the rookie wall so much as it is you're playing with your 4th-string quarterback, and Justin Jefferson's not out there. So is it really a rookie wall so much as that, or is it just that teams realize we can't run the ball, we don't have our starting quarterback, and we don't have Justin Jefferson? Who's the biggest threat left? Yeah, Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson. So at the very least, having Justin Jefferson out there should allow the offense to run more smoothly. I don't know if that's grammatically correct or not, but the point is, Justin Jefferson, you got to make that impact. And I'm not saying you have to have 10 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns every single game. That's unrealistic even with Kirk Cousins. But what I am saying is you got to make an impact. You can't be a guy that goes out there for 4 catches for 25 yards. Now, yeah, if you get 8 targets and 4 of them are off target, okay, you can't help that, so to speak. But you have got to bring the equipment. You've got to show out. You got to be the guy that motivates your team, that says, hey, we got 5 games left. We're 6-6. Let's run these games off, get into the playoffs, and let's do some damage. So hopefully Justin Jefferson will be able to help Josh Dobbs a little bit. Maybe he'll actually open up some things for the running game, or all of the above. And maybe, just maybe, the biggest thing that I'm going to talk about KOC when I talk about these quarterbacks, but the only thing I don't want to see is don't be forcing Justin Jefferson the ball just to force Justin Jefferson the ball. You have to be a cohesive offense. This defense has given you everything it possibly can and then some. Nobody in their right mind expected the defense to be this good this year. I said going from 31st to maybe 20th would have been a reasonable expectations. They're around the 14th best defense right now. And yeah, they've got 1 touchdown in the last 2 games, and you've gone 0-2. So this comes back to the offense, whether it's Justin Jefferson, whoever the quarterback may be, Kevin O'Connell. Offensively, we need to bring it the last 5 weeks of the season. Yes, you got 2 road games coming up, and then after that, you're going to be indoors. You got Detroit indoors, Green Bay indoors in our house, and then indoors against Detroit again. So after these next 2 weeks, I'm going to have pristine conditions. Nothing about weather, wind, rain, snow, whatever. After these next 2 games, offense got to be firing on all cylinders. That's just my thoughts. All right, let's hit that reset button again one more time. Hit those like buttons if you don't already subscribe. Hit that subscribe button as well. Share this with your friends. Put this on Facebook. Put it on Twitter. And yes, I still call it Twitter. I ain't calling it X. It's ridiculous. Whatever, Musk. And reminder one more time, all donations get a match, as well as any increments of 5 get an entry into Mary's giveaway. That's going to be part of my shows as well as rap shows for Gary's grandson. So help us out as best you can. All right, let's get back to the comments. Let's see what you guys. I know there's a couple people. I know Too Evil. I didn't miss you. Too Evil to Hope in the building. Shout out to Too Evil for the $2 super chat. Ice Tay, let's get a top 10 pick. You know, it's funny. I was listening to Dave over on Minnesota Sports Talk, who had his show earlier tonight, and who he and I will be doing our back to Under the Lights after a 1-week hiatus because he was on a cruise with his family on vacation. For anybody who doesn't know Too Evil and his sense of humor, he's a good dude. He's an absolutely good dude. But shout out to Too Evil. I appreciate you as always. There's a couple. Why did I say? That's what I thought. I kind of went over, but yes, Watson. No, Bob, we are not to get Carson Wentz. Enough of that. Thank you, SKOL Mafia. I appreciate it. What's Called Pepper up to? I don't know. That's a good one too. You know, people were talking about, hey, let's bring Adrian Peterson out of retirement. I was like, I'll take Dante before I take AP, but that's a whole nother discussion of no and no. Nick Nolans will be like Nick Foles for the Super Bowl. I would take that, Jim. I would take that, James. Absolutely. If we could get Nick Mullins to become our Nick Foles, yeah. I'm not going to bet any money on that, James, but I would take it. I would take it. The great Randy Moss played with a bad hamstring, even he was out there as a decoy. That's true, but I will say that he probably was ineffective a lot longer because he was trying to play through it. But hey, what's done is done. But I get your point, T-Best. I think that if the Vikings bye week was 2 or 3 weeks earlier, he would have sat out that bye and he probably would have came back a game or 2 early. But the Vikings decided to say, hey, let's just get to the bye week and we'll go from there. But we'll see. JJ bailed Kirko out plenty. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And again, that comment was made for oh, you want to get rid of Kirk? Well, Justin Jefferson wouldn't have these numbers if it wasn't for Kirk Cousins. Okay, yeah. Maybe instead of starting out with, 4,600 yards in his first 3 seasons, he might have only had 4,100 yards. But let's not pretend that Justin Jefferson would have only had 2,000 yards if it wasn't for Kirk Cousins over 3 years. But anyway, why would JJ acting damaged be good for content? Well, that's true too. That's true too. This speculation is ridiculous, and it's the last time I'm going to say anything on that. Shout out to Gary in the building. What's going on, Gary? Good to see you. Appreciate you. Shout out Steven as well. What's going on, Steven? Lemmy says, guys, we all know when this team take care of business, never do. Well, that's true. They always find new ways to break our hearts, but that's all right. They're still our team. They are still our team. So we're going to roll with them always. This game, KOK. Yes, I'm going to talk about that. Culpepper would, well, maybe at least 3 bills. That's for dang sure. Absolutely. When I watch JJ on the sidelines, I 3 first-round picks. Bob, you better get up out of here with that mess. Chandler needs to be. I'll say this. Chandler came back to earth, Lemmy. 4 carries, 8 yards. I know Chicago's defense is halfway decent, but he did not look good. But that gets back to KOC. He needs to get better in creating run plays. T-Bass has always made the point. All right, do we really know if Kevin O'Connell is this mastermind of an offensive guru, or is he just a guy who's known for offense? I will say that he has gotten more out of Kirk, and for a couple of weeks he got something out of Dobbs. His biggest problem is that he's trying to make Dobbs a pocket passer, but we'll talk about that shortly. Let's see here. There you go. I'm just going to leave that right there. There you go. Dylan says it's too evil actor keeper. That's good. JJ coming off range is going to take from time to Joe with his team KO. She should have all the print. Yeah, that's true. That's true too. That's right. The Raiders are. Thank you, Dot. I appreciate you, DOD. I appreciate you. That totally went over my head. Oh, that's right. Mary is giving away prizes for the remaining 5 games. So we're going to do one each week, and that prize will be given away each Sunday night on Rapping for Days. Although we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do the Christmas and New Year's ones because those are on Sundays. And I don't have any idea what our schedule is going to be during those weeks, but we will get it done one way or the other. All right, let me get some shout outs here. Andrew with another 10, just because Justin and the character. I appreciate you, Adam. I really do. And a shout out to Gary for the 10 bones as well. Appreciate you guys so very, very much. We gonna get this. And tune in on Friday. If you guys don't tune in to Purple Pocket Podcast, first off, I don't understand why, but Friday nights we're doing these fundraisers for Gary to get his grandson some much needed football equipment to be on a traveling football team that he is qualified for. We don't do well after buys. Well, that is one thing about Dennis Green that you can never fault him for. He was pert near undefeated going into and out of bye weeks. I think in his 10 years, I think he was like 16-4 or 17-3 going into and out of the buys. Frozen puts up 250 at the. Oh yeah, Dante. I'm assuming. Yep. Yeah, right. I don't think so. I do not think so. I doubt it. But we'll see. Shout out Cody in the building. Bring back Sean Mannion. No, absolutely not. I know you're messing, but absolutely not. No, thank you. And a double no, thank you for me on that. Shout out to Eric from New Mexico. What is going on, Eric? Say hello to Farinder and Raquel for me. Absolutely. Appreciate you stopping on by. Everybody say hello. There you go. All right. What do we got here? All right, Gary, what you got this weekend? Oh, yes. There you go. All right, next topic here. I know I'm reusing some of my stuff because it was a busy weekend, but we all know the topic at hand, and that's the quarterback carousel. Now I said it on Thursday. My first choice would be Jared Mahomes Hall. Why? Because he has the most balance. Nick Mullins is boring. He's safe. Oh, well, he can run the offense the closest to what Kirk can. I don't care. You're the head coach. You're supposed to use the best player and use their ability. So I don't want to hear about how we're going to play Nick Mullins because he gives us the best chance of being able to run the same offense that we use with Kirk Cousins. That's just dumb. If you've got options that have higher ceilings, I don't care that they've got lower floors. You are going for broke. You are 6-6 and you're trying to get into the playoffs. And so you want to protect the playoff berth at all costs. And I get it. You're probably under some directive from Ziggy and Mark Wilf that says, hey, our first priority, even if we go one and done, is to get into the playoffs. Yeah, getting into the playoffs would be great. Don't be wrong. I want them to, if at all possible. I'd also like them to be in a position to actually do something if they got there. And Nick Mullins, well, he might not turn the ball over as much as Josh Dobbs. Maybe not, but Nick Mullins has a propensity to turn the ball over too. I think his touchdown to interception ratio is like 27 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. So let's not pretend that Nick Mullins is turnover averse because he's not. Nick Mullins is just as capable. Now, Josh Dobbs looks a little worse at it because he's been on 52 different teams and the way he goes about it. Yeah, okay. But again, I'd rather have Hall because while he doesn't have as high a ceiling as Josh Dobbs does, he also doesn't have as low a floor. Now, again, Nick Mullins has the highest floor. And then after that, I would say Hall. And then after that, I would say Dobbs. Dobbs has got the biggest range. Dobbs' floor is way down here, and his ceiling's way up here. And then here's Jared Mahomes Hall, and then here's Nick Mullins. I don't want the safe guy. But a lot of the media is thinking that they're going to go with Nick Mullins because, he's the closest one to Kirk that we got. To that, I say phooey. To that, I say yuck. That's trash. It's a loser's mentality. Let's go with the safest guy. No, let's go with the guy that gives you the best chance. Well, if Nick Mullins doesn't turn the ball over and he gets the ball out and he's going to be the best one for Justin Jefferson, how do we know that? Somebody explain to me. Put it in the chat. Somebody explain to me why we think Nick Mullins is the best to utilize Justin Jefferson. Oh, because he's the most accurate. Okay, so he can throw 7-8 yard patterns better than the other two guys. Maybe. Okay. But what does that get you? No, I want the most bang for the buck. So that would be Josh Dobbs. And so again, Diana Rossini said I believe it was yesterday, that from what she's hearing, it's going to be Josh Dobbs. Here's why I'd rather go with Hall. And I'm not overreacting to just one good series in Atlanta before he ended up getting hurt. What I am reacting to is that he has been in the building all summer and he's been throwing passes to Justin Jefferson and he's been throwing passes to all the wide receivers and he knows the playbook better. So it is kind of a catch-22, but it goes back to what John Madden always says. When you have two quarterbacks, you really have none. Well, when you have three, you have like none and then some more none, if there is such a thing. But what I'm going to say is this. I would go with Hall because, again, I think he's better than Nick Mullins. And I think he's better than Josh Dobbs insofar as I don't think he's going to turn the ball over as much. And, oh, by the way, as I have said multiple times, by the end of this season, I want to know what we have in Jaren Hall. It's not earth-shattering news, and it shouldn't be that complicated. Jaren Hall was your 5th-round draft pick. And yes, he was designed to only be the 3rd-string quarterback all year because you didn't anticipate Kirk Cousins was ever going to get hurt. And if he did get hurt for a couple of games, you would have gone to Nick Mullins. And if Nick Mullins hadn't hurt his back, he would have been the starting quarterback in Atlanta and not Jaren Hall in the first place. I don't care if that's what the plan was back in July and August. I don't care. I care about the here and now. You can talk about all you want about what was going on or what was going through your mind back in July and August. Things change. Your mindset changes. You have more evidence of the president, more evidence of the present. And in the present, Jaren Hall, hey, you can say Alexander Madison was wide open on that deep pass on the sideline. Yeah, so was Jordan Addison. And all I know is Jared Mahomes Hall hit Alexander Madison and Josh Dobbs missed Jordan Addison. He has one play, a couple plays here and there. Can't make swooping judgments on that. But again, Jaren Hall gives you the mobility. Now, is he as fast as Josh Dobbs? Probably not. No. Is he more accurate than Josh Dobbs? Yes. So to me, Jaren Hall is the guy who is in the middle when it comes to mobility and accuracy. I don't want an immobile, accurate guy, and I don't want a mobile, inaccurate guy. I want the guy in the middle. I think that gives you the best chance for the playoffs anyway, since that's going to be the edict from the owners, because that's all the owners want. The owners want us to be in the hunt for as long as possible. If they make the playoffs, so much the better. That's they play for today. They look at 1 year at a time. What is the best outcome for this season and this season only? They're not all that interested in the long-term viability. Now, truth be told, I think Kwesi Adofo-Mensah wants Jaren Hall to play because he was his draft pick and he wants to know what he has. So he has information as to whether he should be drafting a quarterback in the first round next season. At the end of it, I think it's going to be either Josh Dobbs or Nick Mullins, and I'm leaning towards Dobbs. And all I'm going to say about KOC on that is this. If you're going to go with Josh Dobbs, you're not going to go with Nick Mullins, and you're not going to go with Jared Mahomes Hall, then you dang well better utilize his skill set. I get it. You don't want a guy that's just going to play backyard football because that's only going to get you so far. You have to have some semblance of being a pocket passer. I understand that. I do. But don't try to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour as a pocket passer. Call more rollouts. Call some design runs. And I don't mean the design runs of the have TJ Hawkinson take the snap and do a pitch to your quarterback. No, have your quarterback take it out of the shotgun, have him fake pitch it this way, or do the read option this way, or whatever else, but utilize his skill set. Roll him out to one side. Well, that cuts off half the field, and the defense can adjust to that. Then let him adjust to it. I'm not saying roll out every single play, but what I am saying is you didn't do any rollouts until the fourth quarter against the Bears. You did it once or twice. You do that once or twice a quarter. Okay, once or twice a quarter is not going to give your game plan away to the defense. Get him in rhythm. Let him get some nice, easy completions. And then take your deep shots. Now, again, if that deep shot on the first play to Jordan Addison, if he had come down with that catch, the whole game butterfly effect probably would have been different. I get that. But if you're going to go with Josh Dobbs because you like his ceiling, and I agree with the thought process that he has the highest ceiling. I do. But what I am going to say is that doesn't mean you try to shoehorn him into being a pocket passer. If he had been here all off season, like if we had traded for him in the off season and got rid of Nick Mullins and just said, okay, we're going to go with Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, and then Jared Mahomes Hall, fine. Then he would have had all that time in the off season working with his teammates, getting more acclimated with the playbook and all that other good stuff. But you traded for this guy a month ago. You've just got to roll with what he can do well. You can't be doing this dipsy doodle. I'm going to try to make Josh Dobbs a pocket passer. There's a reason he has been on 52 teams in a league of 32 teams. Okay, I'm joking. But my point is, There's a reason. He just is what he is. He's a nice, solid backup quarterback. He's the kind of guy like Nick Mullins, where if Kirk goes down for 3 or 4 weeks, you hope to go 500 with him until Kirk gets back. And by the way, that's exactly what he's done. We were 4-4 with Kirk. We're 2-2 without Kirk. Say what you want about the turnovers here and there and all these other things. Well, it's not Kirk's fault. I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying the reality is they went 4-4 with him. And they're 2-2 without him. Now, the way it happened leaves a lot to be desired because you played two halfway decent defenses in the Falcons and the Saints, and you had your two highest outputs of scoring of the season, and then you just absolutely crapped the bed against the Broncos and the Bears. Again, your defense gives up one touchdown in 2 games, and you go 0-2. I'm just saying, KOC, you're supposedly this mastermind of offense. Some people doubt that. Okay, show us what you got. You had 2 weeks to do your self-reflection with this bye week. You had 2 weeks in between games. Do your self-reflection. Go study in the laboratory and watch the film and figure out what works and what doesn't. Well, what doesn't work is making Josh Dobbs a pocket passer. So if that's the guy you're going to roll with, fine. It's not my first choice, not my last choice. Again, my choices would be Hall, Dobbs, and then Mullins. Actually, it would be Hall, Dobbs, the bones of Kirk Cousins, the bones of Dante Culpepper, and then Nick Mullins. But I digress. All I'm going to say is if you're going to play Josh Dobbs, then you got to do a better job. And again, you now have Justin Jefferson back. So that should give you enough to be able to go at least 3-2, if not 4-1. I'm going to run down through the schedule here, give my thoughts. Again, I'm probably going to reevaluate it next week because right now I don't know who the quarterback is. And for anybody who I've had a few people ask me, how come they haven't told us who's going to be the starter? Well, there's no point. You really want to just look at who gets more snaps in practice. That'll give you an indicator. But no, they're not going to say Josh Dobbs is the starter or Nick Mullins is the starter. Why would they give the Raiders that competitive advantage? No, they're not going to say that. But all I will say to wrap up this topic is this. I would go with Hall, and I anticipate there to be about a 2% chance of that happening. I'd be very pleasantly surprised, but I'd be utterly shocked. So if Hall's off the table, I go with Dobbs, and I say KOC, use him to the best of his ability. The one thing that makes a good coach is, like, let's say you're a defensive coach. Well, I run the 4-3 or I run the 3-4, and I don't care what my personnel is. I'm running my system. No, you mold your system to your players. Ed Donashell didn't use his players the right way all last season. Now, we got away with it because we got a lot of clutch stops, some clutch turnovers at the end to seal games, and that's all well and good. And yes, this defense has done the best that it can. All props to Brian Flores, as we have said a multitude of times. Again, this defense has done its job. And realistically, we got 6 losses, and they've all been 1-score losses. And we've got 24 turnovers on offense, 24 through 12 games, 2 a game. You can't win in the NFL with that many turnovers. And I know there have been some games where you didn't have any, or maybe you had 1, and other games where you've had 3 or 4. And yeah, Josh Dobbs could have had like 6 interceptions, and not all of them were his fault. The one off Jordan Addison's hands, not his fault. But if you're going to go with Josh Dobbs, use his skills. Utilize him. Utilize him in ways to get Justin Jefferson the ball and to make the offense more smooth. And maybe, just maybe, we can actually have a running attack. Heaven forbid. Reset button. Hit that like button if you didn't hit it on the way. All right, Purple Gang. How many likes I got? How many got watching? How many likes we got? Somebody give me a count, if you could, please. Let's get to the comments here as well. All right, where we leave off. Is it safe to say we all miss Kirk? Of course, it is definitely safe to say that. Absolutely, Lemmy. But here's what I'm going to say before we go any further, just for the record. Nothing that has happened this season changes my mind about what to do about Kirk Cousins after this season is over. I move on. It's not Kirk hate. I'm not being a Kirk hater. I'm not, not giving him his props. I've given him his props when they are deserved. And he was playing it at MVP level before he got hurt. And yeah, is it safe to say we probably win those 2 games against Denver and Chicago if it was Kirk Cousins? We're sitting here at 8-4 instead of 6-6. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm going to say it like this one more time. This needs to be Kirk Cousins' last season with the Vikings. And I'll tell you why. Number 1, you got to give Justin Jefferson a contract. Number 2, you bring back Danielle Hunter long before you bring back Kirk Cousins. You have to re-sign Christian Darrisaw to his first bag. You don't have enough money to go around to give those 3 players what they need to be retained, as well as retain Kirk Cousins. You just don't. And for anybody needs a reminder, Kirk Cousins has $28.5 million of dead salary cap hits that are scheduled at the moment as 10, 10, 4, and 4 over the next 4 seasons. If he is not retained, all $28.5 million go onto the 2024 salary cap. Now, if they were to re-sign Kirk Cousins to a 1-year deal, let's just say $40 million, his cap hit would be 50 because that first 10 that I talked about would be added to the new $40 million. So his cap hit would be 50. You cannot afford Jefferson, Darisaw, Danielle Hunter, and Kirk Cousins at $50 million. Well, what if Kirk takes a massive discount? He's not. He's not going to, nor is he obligated to. Kirk Cousins isn't obligated to give anything back to the Vikings. Absolutely not. Well, Kirk said he was going to take a discount. Yeah, he was going to take about a $5 million discount from 42 down to 37. He wasn't going to give like a $10, $20 million discount. So, yeah, if Kirk Cousins said, I'll come back and I'll play for $20 million, so my cap hit is 30, I'm listening to that. It's still not what I'm really going to go for because I'll tell you this. Take the name Kirk Cousins out of your mind for just a moment. If the Vikings were going to sign a free agent quarterback who is going to be 36 years old, coming off an Achilles injury, we wouldn't want anything to do with that quarterback. It could be Tom Brady. It could be Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. No, I don't want a quarterback who's 36 coming off an Achilles injury who was already immobile to begin with. And you want a guy who's coming off an Achilles injury? Talk about a statue. So when I put all of that together, 36 off an Achilles injury is going to add $10 million to whatever his salary is as far as his cap number goes. I'm not interested. And oh, by the way, even if Kirk said I'll play for 20 and his cap hit is 30, that means the other $18.5 million that would be dead on 2024 salary cap would now be dead on 2025 salary cap. At this point, I'm just wanting to move on because I want to get that salary cap debt paid. Good question though, Lemmy. Absolutely good question. But do we miss him? Yes. And again, I was looking forward to seeing what this season would have been with Kirk Cousins in its entirety, for better, for worse. And yeah, we finally have a decent offensive line in front of him. And yeah, we finally have a decent defense. And of course, that's the 1 year he gets hurt. That's just the Vikings way, But all I'm going to say is, yeah, I would have loved to have seen this season play out. Would I feel a lot better about our chances of winning this division with Kirk Cousins? Of course. Would I think that we would have a better opportunity to do some damage in the NFC playoffs? Of course. I mean, right now, the pecking order, well, I'll get to the pecking order when we get to the next topic, which is the playoffs, but we'll get back to that. But good question, Lemmy. And real quick, just to hit the reset button there as well, anybody who is on the membership program, Davey Change, shoot me a text or shoot me a messenger if you want to get on tonight, as well as anybody else who's a member. If you want to get on the mic tonight, let me know. Did you see that Leonard signed with the Eagles? No, but that doesn't surprise me. The Eagles get everybody, although they got mollywopped by the 40. I told everybody the 49ers are still the best team in the NFC, possibly the NFL right now. I don't care that they had a 3-game losing streak, and I don't care that we beat them at home. They didn't have Deebo Samuel. And yeah, Brock Purdy, he looked bad for a couple weeks after he got concussed playing us, but he's back. He is back. And that defense, now that they added I almost said Jamar Chase Young to that defensive line. Yeah, the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. I don't care that they're a game behind Philly. Put in Hall to see what he has. I totally agree, Cody. Totally agree. Mullins equals on to 2024. That's true. That's very, very true. Yeah, he was looking good earlier. I didn't see what this, I'll just look it up here right now. What's the score now? Oh, 21-14. Okay. I didn't think I thought Jacksonville would just mollywop those guys. That's why I don't bet on the NFL anymore. Well, there's something to be said to that, Gil, which goes back to the points that I was making. KOC, I hope he did some soul searching. I hope he said, all right, this is what I got and this is how I'm going to utilize them. But why is it? Well, that there's something to be said to that, true, Bob. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Oh, yeah. No, they don't. They have them for a while. They have them for a while. Zone says, I better not see. No, I agree with you. Go with the guy who's the best chance to win. Yeah, I think it's all. I mean, if somebody says, hey, I think this guy gives us a better chance of winning, I'm not opposed to that opinion at all. I just think Jared Mahomes Hall is the best. What's the sad is that he's still out, Steve. Jordan Hicks, he's still out. He's going to be out for a while. He might get back by New Year's against the Packers is my guess at the earliest. If he played that first Detroit game, I'd be utterly shocked. I mean, they put him on injury reserve, so he's got to miss at least 4 games. So the absolute soonest he could get back would be Detroit because that would be 4 games. But no, I don't. I think he's going to be out for the year. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get him back the last week or 2. but I don't see him coming back, which is unfortunate because he was balling. He was absolutely balling. Go 3-2, to be honest, with losing Kirk and JJ for Cooper, was still put it to 16 is pretty high. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yes, fully on Nick Mullins, absolutely. Greg has got no confidence in KLC whatsoever. Greg, did T-Bass hijack your keyboard? But I digress. Let's see. They're going to say Mullins because he's like, yeah, that's what I was saying a moment ago. And I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that. I absolutely would. Gary says Dobbs or Hall. Mary says Hall. Zone says Hall. I play Hall to see. Yes, that too. I totally agree. Hall has 1 week of experience with the starters, and Jefferson wasn't one of them. Yeah, that's true. But like I said, I'd rather know what we have in the guy. So to me, that's my tiebreaker. Is he's the only guy under contract, as was mentioned in the previous comment, and I want to see what we got. Because if we know for a fact that he isn't it, and he very well might not be, but I want to know for certain. I don't want uncertainty. Like, if we're going to spend our first round draft pick on a quarterback, whether it's Michael Penix or JJ McCarthy or whoever the heck it might be, I'd like to know what Jaren Hall is or isn't, but we'll see. Yeah, I agree, Eric. I totally agree. Hall's an unknown, so let's keep hope. BR Proc Purdy. Let's make a run at this thing, no matter who it is. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Don't play not to. Spot on, Lemmy. Spot on. Absolutely. Let's have a down-a-thon. There you go. Yeah, I know. Thank you, too, Evo. I appreciate you. Fair enough. You don't draft a quarterback to ride the bench. You draft him to see if he can play. Comment of the night so far, changed. Comment of the night. Shout out Luminous. What's going on? Good to see you. Appreciate you. Oh, he did. Oh, he did a gritty. All right. I didn't. Okay. There you go. He's the only person in the NFL besides JJ that I don't mind doing a gritty. Everybody else want to copy those, but those two came up with that. I'm not. I ain't mad at that. There you go. Oh yes, Bama getting in. I can't wait for that game. That is unfortunate for the Michigan Wolverines. Hey, you finally got the number 1 seed. Play Alabama. Have fun with that. That's going to be fun watching those 4 teams go at it. No, I'm not a fan of his throwing either. But again, if he doesn't get shoehorned into being a pocket passer, I can see some of it being all right, but we'll see. Fair enough. Let me fair enough. Let's see here. I'm scrolling and I'll get to my last topic. Nope, I'm probably not going to keep it under an hour. Shout out to Yogi. What's going on, Yogi? Good to see you. Appreciate you. Great show with you and SK the other day. Great show. I've had it with Kirk. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm done. And it's nothing personal anymore. It never was personal, actually. But we draft Bo Nix or I take JJ, James. He says, do we draft Bo Nix or JJ? I take JJ. If nothing else for the double JJ alliteration. But no, I like JJ McCarthy more than I like Bo Nix. That's just me, though. And spot on the Skoltron. Yes, Purdy costs less than $1 million a year. That's the thing. So does Jared Mahomes Hall. But I digress. It's been fun watching a mobile quarterback. Yes. But yes, he is definitely a backup. Yes, I totally agree, Mary. Spot on there as well. All right, so everybody's saying hello to everybody. Thanks again for joining, Yogi. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. All right, last one for the night. Until we get some comments in. Last call for any members you want to get on the mic tonight. Let me know. Playoffs. Yeah, I know. I've done this one a few times. That's all right. At the moment, the Minnesota Vikings are currently the 6th seed in the NFC Playoffs. We all know that. But they are tied with about, 3 or 4 other teams, if I recall correctly. They got the 6-6 Green Bay Packers, Rams, Seattle Sea Chickens, who are falling off the map, and they are only 1 game ahead of Tampa Bay, who owns a tiebreaker on us. I'll say it like this. You've missed your opportunity to really have a good shot of winning this division. Is it over? No, it's not. Because the Lions, we've seen that they are capable of crapping the bed. They started off so hot yesterday and barely hung on because the Saints are just terrible. But the Lions, they got the Bears, then they got the Broncos. Maybe the Broncos can give them a game, and then they got the 3-game swing with us, the Cowboys, and us again. And yeah, if we split those games, the Cowboys beat them, and maybe the Broncos beat them, yeah, we have a shot at this. We have a shot, but it's going to be tough. And again, part of the reason I would love to win the division is so that you don't have to play either San Francisco, Philadelphia, or Dallas in the first round. Because here's how this is going to go. San Francisco is either going to be the 1 or the 2 seed. Philadelphia is either going to be the 1 or the 2 or the 5, and the Cowboys are going to be the 1, 2, or the 5. Those 3 teams are locked in for all intents and purposes. I know Detroit is only 1 game behind Philly and are tied with San Francisco. I don't care. San Francisco and Philly are going to pull away, as will Dallas. And again, Dallas and Philly play each other, so if Dallas gets the win, they could very easily be one of the top 2 seeds. So we got to take 1, 2, and 5 out off the table. They're just not going to happen. And we can take 4 off the table as well because the Falcons or the Saints are going to win that division and claim the 4 spot. The last thing you want to do is be that 7 seed because then you're either going to go to Philly, San Francisco, or Dallas, and you ain't winning. I'll tell you that right now. Will we beat San Francisco? Yes, at home without Deebo Samuels. I know we didn't have Justin Jefferson. San Francisco has figured it out. Okay? They figured it out. Yeah. I'm not saying we would have 0 chance against Philly, but I don't like our chances. So you got to hold on to that 6 spot if you can't get up to the 3, because I don't think you're not catching Dallas with 5 games left and you're 3 games behind. You're not catching Dallas. So the bottom line is this. I never thought I'd say this. When we beat the Green Bay Packers, I thought they were dead in the water. They're not dead in the water. They've got it all figured out. That game against the Green Bay Packers on New Year's Eve, that could be for the playoffs. That very well could very easily be for the playoffs. And don't sleep on the Rams. They looked good yesterday against a real good defense in the Cleveland Browns. Matt Stafford has got it figured out. Now, they got some injuries, but their defense is coming around too. Seattle, like I said, they're kind of falling off. And by the way, Seattle, I'm really not too much worried about anymore, particularly after the last couple of games, because here's their schedule. At the 49ers, home against the Eagles, at the Titans before getting the Steelers and Cardinals. So again, that's at least 2 losses for them. So I think Seattle's going to fall off the table here. So you're really talking about 3 teams for 2 spots, us, Green Bay, and the Los Angeles Rams of Anaheim. Rams schedule, just for the sake of conversation, just to wrap this up here. At the Ravens going to be tough, but then they get the Commanders, the Saints, the Giants, and the 49ers at the end of the season. Yeah, watch out for the Rams. Now, Green Bay, the ones we got to really worry about. Now, again, we got 2 spots, so it's not like it's us or them, and that's all there is to it. But Buccaneers at home, at the Panthers before getting us. I'm sorry, the Giants, the Buccaneers, and the Panthers. They could easily be 3-0 in those games. They could be at 9-6 when they come face us. And then they got the Bears after that. We're the toughest on their schedule left. They could, even if we do beat them, they could be 4-1, which means we got to go 4-1. So it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be an absolute dogfight, ladies and gentlemen. And we have only ourselves to blame. We kicked away that game against Tampa Bay, kicked away a game against the Chargers. We're competitive against Philly. We're competitive against the Kansas City Chiefs, but I don't mind them losing those games. They're good teams. I know Kansas City's just kind of meh right now because of the standard they've set for themselves, but these 2 games against the Broncos, the Bears. So that's 4 games. Again, they could easily be 10-2 right now. But alas, they've given away their margin for error, and we don't have Kirk Cousins, but we got Justin Jefferson back. My prediction, yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I just really hope that they can keep that 6 seed because, we got to go to San Francisco if they end up being the 2 seed, or Philly or Dallas. Dallas, I'd give us about a 40% chance of winning. Philly, I say about 20, and San Francisco, I say about 5. So you got to keep that 6 seed. So if you don't catch the Lions for the division, you at least hook them in the first round of the playoffs. Can they do it? Yes. My official prediction, I'm going to say it like this. If Josh Dobbs is our starting quarterback, I think we're going to go 2 or 3 wins. I think we beat the Vegas Raiders no matter what. Cincinnati all of a sudden is looking good tonight. So I got to chalk that one up as that's a definite non-win. So you get the Packers, you split with Detroit, you get the Raiders, you get to 9 wins. That'll get you into the playoffs as the 7 seed for sure. But you get one more. You can go 4-1. You can hold on to that 6 seed. And then, yeah, I'll take my chances in Detroit. Detroit. Our defense, the way Brian Flores is going. Again, you get pressure on Jared Goff. For everything we used to say about Kirk Cousins under pressure, Jared Goff's even worse. Now, Jared Goff can do a little more sidestepping than Kirk Cousins can, and he can hang in there quite a bit. I mean, that last throw to clinch the game was ice in the veins. But yeah, I'll take my chances against Detroit. Absolutely. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. In all seriousness, let's hit that reset button one more time. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit that like button for me. Share this out with your friends. Tell your friends to come subscribe to Purple and Gold for Days. Shout out Chad in the building. What's up, Chad? Anybody else going to Vegas? I wish, but no, no, definitely not. Got a lot going on here. What's going on, Dayon? Shout out, Dayon. Here tonight. All right, last call. Any members want to get on the mic real quick? I got about 5 to 10 more minutes before I get up out of here. So shoot me a message or put it in the chat, and I'll send you an email with the link in there. We got Grandizer in the building. What is going on, Grandizer? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Too evil, you ain't even funny. You're not funny, dude. Yeah, tired of the mortgage future. Yes. I'm sorry I predicted. There is that. I appreciate the try by kicking all this Capcom. Yes. Thank you. Getting back to the Kirk Cousins conversation. I'm done with this dead cap hit. I'm done with these void years. If nothing else, I just want to pay that bill and be done with it. Time to move on from Cousins, 36 years old, Achilles injury. I totally agree. What's up, Steve? Thanks for coming. You were at the Bear. Oh, the Vikings owe you money back for that game. You was at the Bear game Saturday, I'll be honest. TJ Hawkinson jumps for every day and drops some picks. I will say this. Who else has caught the ball all that much from Josh Dobbs beside TJ Hawkinson? Yeah, he ran a bad route on that 4th and 7. He needed to run it deeper. Josh needed to give him a better pass, give him an opportunity. But I'll say this. He hasn't been good, but he's one of the top 3 tight ends right now. I think the fact that we didn't have Justin Jefferson and then Jordan Addison has fallen off too, it exemplifies the mistakes that TJ has made, but he's been the only thing we have really had going on. But having said that, I see your point. He does drop a few too many, but it is what it is. He's playing with a quarterback that's playing backyard football, and he's the only one out there. But if you're still in here, but if not, good night. Appreciate you for stopping on by. I know I get behind on my chats when I start doing my topics. The bright side is when the Vikings play Cincinnati. Yes, they will have verse. But I thought I heard him catch one earlier. Mafia says Jared Mahomes Hall. Yeah, he might. Hopefully Brian Flores will have some for him. But we'll talk about more about that next week. KFC does exactly what the KFC or KOC. No, I know. I've said that for years when it comes to the Wilfs, that they say, hey, this is what we're doing. And that's it. I'm an FSU fan. And I don't blame you. It is so unfortunate that the quarterback went down. And yeah, I mean, did they probably pick the best 4 teams? Yes. But did they pick the 4 teams that deserve to be there based on record and based on what has been done throughout the season? No, they did not. I can't say I'm surprised that Florida State got left out of the dance, but you're right. It shouldn't have happened that way. But alas. Well, that's true too. Well, Justin Herbert did. Justin Herbert picked us apart. I'll say that. Will not watch a college football game the rest of the year. Selection committee was a bunch of cowards. Yeah, well, as I was just saying, I get it because they want the most eyeballs and they want the most money to be brought in, and therefore they're going to go with the blue bloods like Alabama. But yeah, Florida State got royally shafted on that. Royally shafted. T-Bass in the zone says facts to T-Bass. Yeah, because you're Michigan Wolverines, so here's your reward for being the number 1 seed. Play Alabama. No, they've been good. They're Grandizer, you ain't funny. No, they've been good. Their defense is fire. Watch when we beat Alabama. I hope so. I really do. I'm pulling for you. I'm actually pulling for you in that game. I actually am. Exactly that too. 49ers. Oh yeah, they are. They are absolutely stacked at every position. Skoltron says Bama's winning it out. Okay, we'll see. Appreciate you, DOD. Appreciate you. Saving his juice. Bama's a bunch of okay. I'll just leave that one up there. Shout out, Mr. Tonic. What's going on? Good to see you. Appreciate you. Yeah, we need to get Powell a little bit more. Involved. And I'm not saying he's going to be like this great wide receiver 3. He's not going to be a guy that takes the top off of defense, but he's a good Jarius Wright comp. Get him the ball in space and let him get some first downs. That's what I say. Appreciate you, Davey Change. Appreciate you. Shout out Purple Hayes, what's going on, Hayes? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on by. We got NFL Jim in the building, or Jim NFL 7. What's going on? Hey, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Just can't get into college football. Well, yes. When you're a fan of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, you're not going to get into too much college football because I rarely, if ever, have a dog in the fight. Rarely, if ever. I don't know where you're going with that, Grandizer. I don't know where you're going with that at all, but there you go. Was there one other thing I was going to talk about here? I think that should be about it. Last call for any questions. Last call for any members. Change, you still in the bit? Change, you want a couple minutes on the mic? Let me know, Change, and I'll send you a DM. Good night, Eric. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. Let your family know. Let your friends know. Tell them to hit me up. Get your horns up. There you go. There you go. How many wins do you think the Vikings have the rest of the way? Well, I just said it a moment ago before you got here, Hayes, so I'll go back and watch for the more in-depth analysis. But I think with Dobbs, we get 2 or 3 wins. I think with Mahomes, Hall, we would probably get somewhere between 1 and 4. And I say that because Hall could very easily crap the bed and only get us 1 more win. But I also think that he'd give us the best chance to get 4 wins. With Nick Mullins, I think we get 2. So I'm going to say 2 or 3, but 9 wins would get you into the playoffs. Now you'd be the 7th seed and you'd be the sacrificial lamb for the San Francisco 49ers. I'll tell you that right now. But I say about 2 or 3 more wins. I think we get Vegas. I think we get Green Bay, and I think we get 1 against the Lions, and maybe we can sneak out Cincinnati. But again, Cincinnati's looking good right now. So I say 3. I say they go 9-8, and I had predicted them to go 10-7 at the beginning of the year. So, and that was with Kirk and everybody else. So shout out, Dave. Gophers always have their hockey team. Yeah. We're 7 minutes away from a national championship last season, and then they had to go and let that tying one in and then gave up the game-winning goal in overtime, 9 seconds into overtime? Appreciate you too, Mary. All right, I'm going to shout out everybody else that came in. And again, I will get your names in for that drawing for Miss Mary. Put it in the comments one more time. If you could, please, that lovely set of Vikings paraphernalia that we're giving away on Sunday after the entries are collected, both for the remainder of this show as well as Thursday show and Rap show on Friday. But a shout out to Adam, shout out to Frozen North, My Worthless Opinion, Ryan, Chains, McAndrews, Mafia, Too Evil. Now, Too Evil. You get a drawing, entry in the drawing for every $5. So give me 3 more tonight, or give me 3 on Thursday's show, so we at least get you a drawing into the prize that Mary's donating. But jokes aside, another 10 from Adam and a 10 for Gary. I appreciate all of you, guys and gals, so very, very much. Let me get these last comments out of the way here. Are the Gophers in the calling it the Who Gives a Crap Bowl might be generous. That might be generous. Yes, it absolutely, and I agree. Hayes is definitely. All right, yeah, Viking steak knives, a set of 4, Mary, I believe, engraved with Vikings all over on the handles. She sent me a picture of it. I didn't have time to get it uploaded here, but yeah, a set of 4 Viking steak knives. So shout out to Evil for the 3. All right, there you go, Too Evil. So now you got 1 in the entry. You got 1 entry in here, and just a reminder, this will continue on Thursday's show on SKOL for Days. Thursday talkers, come on by to Rap's channel on Friday. That's Purple Pocket Podcast. The donations go to Gary's grandson. We'll also get you entries into the drawing. And Rap and I will do the giveaway on Rapping for Days at 8 o'clock Central Time on Sunday night, doing our post-game show there as well. One last time, hit that like button. If you don't already, hit the subscribe button. Share this with your friends that you know consume YouTube content. Help me get those numbers up. Just few away from 1,000. I was at 917 or something when I got in here tonight. Hopefully didn't lose anybody, because I had the audacity to say don't bring Kirk Cousins back, because that's happened to me before. But want to thank you guys again so very, very much. Come on back 8:15 Central Time Thursday on SKOL for Days Thursday Talker. Come on back tomorrow night at 6:30 Central Time, where me and Dave will simulcast on our channels. Under the Lights returns after a 1-week hiatus. After Dave went on vacation, went on a cruise with his family. He showed us a couple pictures in the group chat, and he looked like he had a lot of fun. So I want to thank you all one last time. As always, SKOL to the next episode. Go to Vikings First and SKOL. Subscribe on the YouTube page, as well as your favorite podcast aggregator as well. Thank you kindly, as always, for joining me. SKOL to the next episode. We will see you tomorrow night. Good night.